Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Huang. I'm the co-founder, CEO of Glow. So a quick introduction of my company. So Glow is an enterprise that uniquely applies the power of data science to health. To some people, we also know as a company that makes babies. As a matter of fact, as of last month, we have over 300,000 babies born recorded in our system. So we tend to think we are the godparents to all these kind of Glow babies out there. Quite proud of that achievement. What I'd like to do today, just very casual, and want to talk about opposites attract, how to build and market to diverse audiences, and which I will share some findings and stats with all of you in how we approach to do this. Now, traditionally, we view the concept of diversity probably in context of gender, culture, age, for example, right? It's actually not very common to view diversity in context of people's priorities. So people's priorities change as a part of life, and as a company, as you want to market to all your users, you got to be able to kind of react and learn from that. But it's tricky, right? Because people's priority changes, you want to be able to relate to all these users. So let me show you more about what we found. So from experience, here are a few pictures of my wife and me. I know priority change. If you look at it, we were dating and we got married. My wife got pregnant, started a family. We have a beautiful daughter. But things actually wasn't that straightforward. As always, life always throws you a curveball. When we were single, we were very much wanted to enjoy the life of not having kids and travel and work as hard as we want without feeling guilt. But once we want to have a family, and we tried months and months and months, we weren't very successful. So after a year, we were basically clinically infertile. So we had to seek help from fertility clinics. And then after several tries, and then we were very blessed to be blessed with a beautiful daughter, Kaylee, which is not so small anymore. She's almost 7 and really sassy. So maybe I should build an app on how to deal with a sassy daughter. So as you can see, things change, right? So what my wife and I learned through infertility is that there's so much about your body that your body trying to tell you that you just don't attune to it. Your body, you're just not really listening to it. Furthermore, there's just so much more knowledge that we all need to learn around women's health that traditionally has been understudied. So let me give you an example. The last comprehensive study on women's health or reproductive health was actually done 50 years ago. And it wasn't even specific to women. Why? It's because most of the medical studies and clinical trials is actually based on men. So women are grossly understudied. So if anything we need to change that. So based on my experience, which by the way gave me all the motivations in the world to start Glow, we want to create data-driven apps that are able to empower our users with personalized information that they can make decisions based on certain health goal or outcome they want to achieve. So, and in our platform of apps, we try to cater towards all these life stages, right? From avoiding pregnancy, trying to conceive, healthy pregnancy, to healthy baby. So that's actually a lot of stages. And as we try to do this, we quickly found out it's extremely difficult to capture the audience from just experience the menstrual cycle all the way to women maybe 40 plus, have 3 kids, no longer want to have a baby. So how do you actually build a product? Not only build a product, build a brand they can associate with that across all these different stages, right? So we found that to be very hard. And what I want to share is we then discovered essentially there are 2 ways. For us, there are 2 ways to kind of approach it. So one is choose where and how to be consistent. 2 is choose where and how to inject this concept of flair, right? I will go in detail in both. But first, consistency. So we strive to have a consistent mission, product features, and also design across all of our apps. So our mission, again, is to empower users, to use data to empower users with their personalized information so they can use that information towards a specific health goal or health outcome they want to achieve. So that's our mission. To execute on that mission, then we create a set of consistent product features that basically doing this, right? You enter your personalized health data, whether it's emotional or physical or both, and then we use our machine learning methods to crank those data and push relevant information back to you. Then you take charge and make decision on what you want to do, whether it's avoid pregnancy or try to get pregnant or have a healthy baby, healthy pregnancy. So that's the flow in all of our products. So that's consistent. We also have an easy access to community because it's very important for you to get connected with like-minded women who are not trying to get pregnant or try to get pregnant. And so if you look at that, we try to maintain that each step of the way in all 4 our platform apps we try to build. And lastly, if you look at design, these are actually from 3 different apps. But as you can tell, the design is actually very cohesive. They kind of work together. So this is not too novel. I think for all the entrepreneur or app developers out there, this probably is pretty straightforward. But what gets more interesting is think in terms of the concept of flair, right? What does that mean? Well, to start, you want to think of where do you inject this flair? Where do your users interact with you the most? So for example, again, the core experience for us is our users come here, log their data on a daily basis, then we return a lot of useful information back to our users. So on the left, there's this app called Eve, which is our app for sexual wellness app for millennial women, for young women. It covers basic menstrual cycle information to birth control, to STDs, right? And all the way to sex tips. It's quite arousing. And it's quite taboo to look at all these topics. So with that audience, the way in which they interact with our app, as you can see, is fun, right? And sometimes even silly. And it's all based on emojis. But on the right, which is our flagship product called Glow, is the app where you're serious about wanting to get pregnant, right? You have a very exact mission what you want to achieve. Use this app to kind of measure your menstrual cycles, your ovulation cycles. So you can see the experience there is much more straightforward, it's clean, and in some sense, business-like. Which is good because this kind of positivity or business-like actually injects quite a bit of confidence in our product so people can relate to that, and which helps our brand building. So that's one example. So whether you're young or more mature, depending on your goal, this area of flair, right? This concept of flair we're trying to inject so they can still identify with our brand. The other area we found is very critical for people to kind of interact with this is actually through notification. Now, this is a very common feature that all the app developers would know, that if you want to get user back, have notification blast, they click, they come back, they use your app. So we've done that, but in the way we do it, then later we found out whatever the context in which we try to reach our users, humor worked the best for us. Which is not too surprising if you think about it, because there are times where you physically do not feel great about yourself. Now, I can't speak that from experience, but look at my wife, say 38-week pregnant. It's just tough sometimes, right? So having an app give you this kind of humorous, make light of things, not only give this kind of positivity towards your brand, right, towards the product that they're working with, but more importantly, keep them engaged. So we found our engagement actually goes up as we start injecting this kind of flair to a very common feature such as notification. So humor works quite well. So far we talked quite a bit, or I talked quite a bit about how do you inject flair, interact with the users through our products, right? But there are actually quite a bit of opportunity for you to interact outside of your product. You don't have to do this completely within your product. So one obvious area is social network. I'm sure all of us, probably every single one of us have a Facebook account. So for our users, one area which they love to use over and over again is Instagram. And when we look at Instagram, we tend to think of beautiful pictures, right? Beautiful mountains, scenery, or whatever that is. So we tried that to engage with our users at the very beginning, and actually fell flat. Didn't work very well. So what we later found out as we start tests over and over again, we found humor once again, and also along with facts. As a matter of fact, polls, statistics, they resonate quite well with those who are trying to avoid pregnancy, which is a younger set of users, and also those who are pregnant. So those work quite well. Now, for those who have a baby, or have babies, or actively try to get pregnant, images around inspirational quotes or sweet quotes, they work fantastically well. Which again makes sense because, from my personal experience, every month when my wife and I try to get that positive result in pregnancy but fail, you just feel really frustrated, you feel upset at times, inadequate, and having these kind of images or quotes kind of remind yourself, kind of lift you up, greatly improve our brand. So, and we can see that. And there's a feedback loop, by the way. You'll know when it works because all these are measurable. As you start injecting these different flair content to your users, and then they were able to kind of share it with their own audiences, you can definitely quantify and measure that. So here, just the example in which where our younger users or mature users able to take a look at this information and share with all the audience. And this is a classic case of a word of mouth, where people just take a look at what the people are thinking and try to get more install and more usage of your property. So that worked for us extremely well. And together, once again, we're able to focus very closely on women of different life stages, and then get them cohesively understanding and feel connected with a particular brand, which is Glow. So there are just tons of channels out there, which, if you start a company or if your marketing strategy is about reaching to various different consumers, there are video, Medium, YouTube, Snapchat, PR, blog, email, Pinterest, there are all kinds. So you must find something that works for you. Once you found that, amplify it, right? And there's only way to amplify it is just through relentless iteration. So in summary, what I would say, what I would ask the following question. I would ask you the following question is, one, what are the life stages or the priorities of your customers, of your users? Are there one? What are they? Do they evolve quickly or not? Really try to understand what that is. Two, where do they interact with your brand, with your product and your brand, right? Product is definitely one, but overall you try to build a long-lasting brand. That's kind of like the holy grail. Where do they interact with you the most? Which is important to identify. And three, just try. Iterate, find the flair that works for you, and all these are quantifiable, have relentless execution, try to find out. And I truly believe that if you were to look at things in this context, it will get you much closer in building this lifelong brand with very diverse sets of audience. Thank you.